Good day to our amazing listeners, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Sphere Rocket Podcast Network, where we bring you insightful conversations with the brightest minds in the real estate industry. I'm your host, Sweet, and today we have a distinguished guest with us. He is a dedicated realtor of the Patton Group with Keller Williams, and known as the realtor who doesn't just promise but also delivers. Please welcome Jason Patton. Hi, Jason.
Hey, sweet. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about
Good.
you?
Good. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here in the podcast. So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's dive right
Let's
in
do it.
knowing your story and your journey on how you started in the real estate business.
Yeah. So I was actually in the retail world for about 18 years and kind of backed into real estate. I had taken a trip to North Carolina where I had lived at one point in my life. I saw how the real estate market had just exploded there since I'd been there. I'd probably been about 12 years since I'd actually been back to Wilmington, North Carolina. And so that just kind of got me thinking. And I came back to Alabama and reached out to the real estate agent that had helped my then wife and I purchase a home, and just sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, if I wanted to get my real estate license, what would that look like?" And she kind of introduced me to the local Keller Williams office in town, and kind of the rest is history at this point.
Yeah, that's lovely. And yeah, how long have you been in the industry?
7 years at this point.
7 years. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty long. Yeah. So of course, every successful business has its unique strength. So, what would you say is your business superpower or your personal superpower as a realtor?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the ability to talk to anyone. Being in retail for 18 years, I was continually having to talk to people that I didn't know with different personalities, with different backgrounds. I just think the years and years of experience doing that has allowed me to transition into real estate almost seamlessly. And I kind of pride myself on being able to talk to anyone, and don't really get rattled if somebody's being guarded or aggressive. It doesn't really bother me either way. I feel like I can overcome that pretty easily. So I would say that's it. That's my superpower.
That's wonderful. Really like learning to different walks of life and
Yeah,
the different personalities of people, right? And
yeah.
yeah, that was lovely. And do you have anything particular that like your favorite encounter with some of your clients that you have?
I do have a couple of stories that I like to tell. My second year in real estate, I had converted a for sale by owner. He was an attorney, and the second day on market, we get an offer that was like I think $15,000-$20,000 below list price, and it had a contingency to sell a house. It was a conventional financing, so I mean it was at the time it was kind of a standard offer, except the offer price was low. And my seller didn't want to even address it. He didn't want to counter back. He didn't want to do anything, and he was trying to be pretty firm about it. And I just let him talk. I let him get his ideas and point of view out. And then when he was done, I was like, okay, Mr. Seller, you've hired me to do a job. If you'll allow me to do that job, I'll do what's best for you. And within probably 24 to 48 hours, I had negotiated that same offer up to our list price, cash offer, closing in 20 days with no other contingencies. So, I mean, it really turned on a dime when he allowed me to do my job. And he and our friends to this day, I'll see him every so often. Just hung out with him and his wife pretty recently, and was talking about that story once again. And I said, I still tell that story years later. And he just kind of laughed. He goes, "Well, I'm glad you softened my heart." And he's one of those people that when I first called him as a for sale by owner, he had a wall up, and he was really tough. And he will tell me to this day that I was one of the few people that could penetrate that wall, and he was impressed by that to begin with. So it was just kind of a fun little story that had a great ending that I still tell the story years later.
Wow, wow, that was really great. And yeah, I'm handling tough clients and being able to convert them into really trusting gaining their trust,
Right.
right? And
Right.
yeah, so of course, and that highlight was really great. And of course, with business comes with highlights and lowlights, right? So
Yeah.
there are also challenges that you have encountered for sure. So can you
Mhm.
share to us some of the challenges or the hardest thing that ever happened to you in your business, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah. Some of the challenges over the years have been sellers who were in a very tough situation. And sometimes it's to no fault of their own. Um, so they're in a situation where they have to sell their house. They may not have a lot of equity in it, or they have equity and there are other challenges around the house. Maybe it's condition. Maybe they just don't have the available cash to do the repairs that are needed. So those are kind of challenging at times, and navigating it. Sometimes we win, sometimes we can't overcome the market. And we had a case recently where it was a sweet family. They needed to sell because of some situation, and the situation they'd gotten themselves into really made it, from a listing perspective, pretty prohibitive to sell the house because they were so far underwater on it that we had to elevate the list price to even get them to a break even point. Well, the market knows that it's an elevated price, so it's kind of wasn't able to work out. We gave them a couple of different solutions going forward. They may or may not take one of those solutions, but that's kind of heartbreaking to me. Is when I love helping people. So that's another thing that drew me to this industry. Is I love helping people, and when I can't get over those obstacles because of the market, it, it that's a struggle to me. It makes me, feel like I could have, should have done more when I know in reality that there's really not much more to be done or nothing to be done. But that's the struggle, I would say, is when I can't help people because of the situation I may be in.
Yeah, of course. I agree. There are things that we really cannot control. And as
Right.
much as we would love to help them, there will be times like that that there are conditions that is out of our hands. And yeah, and I can really see your passion in real estate. So what
Yeah.
do you think brings you, or like beyond financial success, what drives you to do um what you do in the real estate industry?
Yeah, it's a great question. And for me, obviously I'm running a business. This is how I feed my family. So, the money aspect is a force. But I like to win. Um, I'm a very competitive person. I like to win. And winning may not be may not be getting the most money, or may not be something financial for my clients. It may be they're in a tough situation and we were able to bail them out. We're closing on one tomorrow where they were in a tough situation, and it's the sister of a past client of mine, and she just needed help. And she kind of just came to me. It's like, look, I don't need to make money on this. I just need to be out of this situation. Well, she's going to make money on this, and it's not just a few $100s. She's going to make a substantial amount of money on this. So that's a win to me. She was in a situation. I was able to help her. That's a win to me, and that's what drives me.
Wow. So it's like a teamwork with
Yeah.
you. And yeah. And yeah, that was really awesome. And with now 7 years within the real estate industry, of course, our world is ever changing.
Mhm.
So how do you make sure that you keep up with the all of the like the technologies and innovations that we have right now, especially with the AI rising? So how do you cope up with those changes?
Yeah, this is my business. This is all I do. So I study it. I don't just unlock a door and write a contract. I study this business. I'm a very techie person as well. So, my director of ops and I are continually talking about what AI can do for us. And so that specifically, we do embrace technology. Um, but it's something even kind of, more quote analog would be like the interest rates and buying and selling trends. And you've got to be informed of what's going on in your world. You can't just show up and, like I said, unlock a door and continue to have success. You've got to study the business.
Totally agree with that. Knowledge is power, of course, and yeah, and to be like on the top of your game in the real estate industry, especially, you really have to be knowledgeable with all of the changes that is happening in the world right now.
For sure.
And yeah, of course, since this is your business, as you've said, with the myriad of responsibilities and wide array of or responsibilities that you have, so do you think, like, what is your opinion in the importance of leverage or delegation in leveraging your business?
Yeah, it's definitely important. And I'll never forget it was the beginning of my second year in real estate. I had a coach at the time, but I didn't have an assistant or anybody to help me. And I was running 11 transactions by myself, and I thought I was going to die. It was too overwhelming for me. And I remember talking to my coach, and at this point, I was in a different office, and I had painted one of the walls with white board paint, so I would keep up with all my transactions on the whiteboard. And I was on the phone with my coach, and she was like, "How much money are you going to make next month?" And I did the math, and it was a substantial amount of money to me. And she said, "Don't you feel like you can hire someone to help you so you don't feel like you're running headfirst into a brick wall?" And I did that, and it's just changed my life. The assistant that was with me then, she has moved on. She's now a stay-at-home mom, and the guy that I've got with me now has just taken it to a whole nother level from even her. I mean, I truly think of him as my right hand person, and it's a team effort, and it it changed my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, having that extra hand with you to help you with those tasks that really, that like to help you to like unpack all of those tasks, and also for you an opportunity for you to like really focus on the things that you really want to do to leverage your business. So how
Right.
many are you now in the team?
It's just the two of us. I do have a virtual assistant that does some ISA work for me as well. He's based out of the Philippines as well. Technically it's three of us, two here in person and one virtually.
Oh, that's great. One person, one virtual assistant. And
Yeah,
that's great that 2 years that you also have the knowledge with virtual assistants. So,
yeah,
how did you learn about that? Since it's also one of the things that have evolved since,
yeah.
growing with the
Yeah,
digital age.
I first heard of VAs when I would go to some Keller Williams conferences. There was a company that they really pushed early on. I didn't sign on with that company. I just kind of kept it in the back of my mind. And about a year ago at this point, maybe right at a year ago, I felt like I could add the virtual assistant component to my business that could do things that, frankly, I just didn't have the time or desire to do. Um, and he has turned out to be a real godsend for me. He's a hard worker. He's a great person, and just adds another element to my business that I just could not possibly have the time to do what he does.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Is there any like big changes that happened or big wins that you had with your business since you've had those two assistants of yours?
Yeah, I mean, literally yesterday, I signed a listing that my virtual assistant set the appointment for, or at least made the connection. I then called and set the appointment, but that lead came from him and his work. And, it's an above average price point. So, it's just another cog in the wheel. And then, with my in house assistant, director of operations, he does, graphic design, he does the marketing, he does the transaction coordinating, he really keeps me kind of between the lines so that I don't go in eight different directions trying to do 10 different things. So, the two of them for sure keep me kind of focused and in mind.
Wonderful. Yeah, congratulations in telling those listing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and reflecting on your growth right now since you've started in the real estate industry, is there something you wish that you had been taught when you're really initially growing your real estate business?
Mm, it's a great question. I think when you're starting out, you definitely you don't know what you don't know, and lead generating, some of the things I tried to do early on were just not my style. I would rather cold call than call my friends and solicit them for business. And I know, I'm 7 years in and I still don't do that. And I know I should, but I also don't ever want to be viewed as a pest or a nuisance by any of my friends. So, I guess getting a better wrap around doing that at a higher level or really doing it at all and then doing it at a high level would have been something I would have done differently.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's wonderful. And Jason, for our listeners who are aspiring to achieve the level of success that you have right now and in the future, what is that number one advice that you want to give them?
I I would say home lead generating. Do My lead generation style is not going to be your lead generation style. So find something that you'll actually do and stick with it. And if you don't see results from it within 2 to 3 to 6 months, don't stop. Keep going because it's that seventh month or that eighth month is when the floodgates will start opening up. And I know as a new agent that's hard. If you're not making any money initially, it's hard to stick with something that you don't feel like is working. But nothing is overnight in this business, and remembering that and just striving towards mastering 1 to 2 or 3 things is better than just throwing 10 things up against the wall and seeing what sticks. So just consistency, showing up. If you're at a brokerage that has a physical office, show up. You can learn so much from other agents. You can bounce ideas off of other agents that are in the office. It's hard to do that when you're sitting at home. May or may not be working. Show up, be consistent. Really, the sky's the limit at that point.
Show up and be consistent. Wow,
Yeah,
those are really lovely. And yeah, thank you for sharing those golden nuggets with us, Jason. And
sure,
yeah, before we proceed to our next segment, how can our listeners reach out to you, or what's the best way for them to contact you?
sure. My email address is my name. It's just Jason Patton at KW. Our website is the Patton Group AL for Alabama, the Patton Group AL.com. And you can get in touch with us from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Excellent.
yeah, before we proceed to our lightning round, let's have a quick commercial.
Okay.
Overwhelmed with work? Well, meet your new partner from Sphere Rocket VA. In just a click, get matched with a virtual assistant who handles all the tedious tasks. No in-person hiring, no extra office gear, just easy online help from our recruitment team. It's like having an extra pair of hands minus the hassle. So ready to relax and see your work done just like magic? Choose Sphere Rocket VA and visit us at www.sphererocketva.com.
Okay, and we're back still here with Jason, and it's time for our lightning round. So,
Okay.
Jason, lightning round is just quick and fun questions. So, just like one word or one liner answers. So, yeah, are you
Perfect.
ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what is your favorite business book?
Favorite business book? Wow. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Wow. And your favorite influencer or coach?
Um, so that's kind of evolved over the years. I would say it's Chris. Chris does some consulting slash coaching, so I would say it would be Chris. I haven't coached under him because he's way out of my price point, but reading his book has changed how I talk to people. So I imagine he would be an amazing coach as well.
Amazing. And favorite lead generation method?
Personally, I love calling for sell by owners. They're a challenge,
Cool.
and I enjoy a challenge.
Yeah, I can see it there. Yeah, and your biggest goal for 2024.
2024 is breaking a certain production ceiling that I'm looking to do. My average price, so in the market I'm in, my average price point is $320,000, and my goal is to break the $20 million volume, $20 million volume goal. So,
Wonderful. And your best Amazon purchase.
oh wow, that's Amazon purchase. Well, that's a doozy. My birthday was 2 days ago. My daughter got me a pasta maker, so I'm excited to use that. Even though I didn't purchase it, I'm excited to use that to make my own pasta.
Oh, wow. I think it's pasta night tonight.
Yeah,
Great. That was great. Do you love pasta?
I did. Yeah, my wife and I just got remarried last year, and my wife and I did our honeymoon in Italy, and I was in absolute heaven eating Italian food for 10 days. So it was great.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason, for
Absolutely.
being in the podcast. It was really a pleasure to hear your story and really inspired with you. Is there something that you want to promote before I end this podcast?
Yeah, I would just say, if anybody listening ever needs help buying or selling in the state of Alabama, we cover pretty much the whole state. So just reach out to us at the links I mentioned earlier. So thepatentgroupal.com, or my name, Jason Patton at kw.com is my email address, and we'd love to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason,
Thank
again,
you.
once again. And it's been a pleasure to have you in the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. And there you have it, friends. Hope you learned from this episode. And don't forget to leave a comment and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, so you will never miss an episode. And again, my name is Sweet, and until next time, stay inspired and keep building those spheres of success.
Feeling the difference with Sphere Rocket VA? Tasks are flying off your list, and there's more me time in your day. And guess what? It's all super affordable. Yes, you heard right. Our virtual assistants aren't just amazing at what they do, they're easy on your wallet too. No more stress over emails or schedules. With Sphere Rocket VA, you get your time back and keep your budget happy. Ready for simpler, affordable workdays? Head on over to www.sphererocketva.com. Join us at Sphere Rocket VA, where every day is easy and easy on your budget. Feeling the difference with Sphere Rocket VA? Tasks are flying off your list, and there's more me time in your day. And guess what? It's all super affordable. Yes, you heard right. Our virtual assistants aren't just amazing at what they do, they're easy on your wallet too. No more stress over emails or schedules. With Sphere Rocket VA, you get your time back and keep your budget happy. Ready for simpler, affordable workdays? Head on over to www.sphererocketva.com. Join us at Sphere Rocket VA, where every day is easy and easy on your budget.